Welcome, everybody out there. Welcome to the land of mediation with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you your top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it throughout the week. And all of my critics out there, I told you that I was the peacefulest and the greatest mediator of all time. I'm telling you right now, we got a lineup of 8 top news stories that made it throughout the week that will keep you informed and revved up and understanding of what is going on in the world with me, your host, the peacefulest mediator of all time, Brian West. Let me give you the disclaimer really fast. These top 8 stories are only documented for records and to highlight topics for those in the business of talk radio, talk media, and those who just want to stay informed. Now we're going to get to the top 8 stories. Like I said, if you want to tune in, if your signal is not strong enough and you want to tune in online, you can go to www.600wsom.com and catch me streaming. If you also want to catch the show throughout the week, we put it up every Monday on our website or on YouTube, period. All you have to do is search method8inc.com. If you want to contribute in any way during the show, or you want to see some of the stories that almost made it into the top 8, you can go to www.method8inc.com. And if you can sponsor something, click on something, buy something, or just read something. If you also want to stop by, I'm in the office at 5648 Market Street, Boardman, Ohio, from 10 to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Now it's time to get to the top 8 stories that made it into the mediator this week. Here with me, the greatest mediator of all time. Here we go. Story number 1. What was Don't Ask, Don't Tell the best policy? Not just in the military, but in even in this new society that we live in right now. If you don't know, there have been some unusual stories surfacing about people's sexuality. Back in the day, people didn't reveal their sexuality. It was stuck in the bedroom. People didn't talk about such things. But this, a lot of big time hardcore Republicans, conservatives, and I have a lot of them around me, even myself. I think about this sometimes, is the fact that people have begotten, they're starting to express themselves in ways that was not normal back in the day. And this is what a lot of conservatives are saying, is losing the Democrats' power over being able to maintain certain voting categories as we approach the midterms. We only have we have 2 more days to the midterm elections, and some people have voted early. I always cap the deadline off at November 2nd for early voting, even though I think it's on the 3rd, but it was on a Friday. The 2nd was on a Friday this year. But people, this is still a hot topic. If you don't remember, Obama was the one who repealed. He vowed to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. So you see this popping. This story made into the top 8 because it popped up in the news unnoticeably. I just started when I was checking stories every week, I would notice that there were all of a sudden stories about homosexuality popping up, and just gender wars and all types of people fighting for their right to talk about what they believe and how they feel about, and it's even become accepted in some forms of media and movies. Now there was even, I believe in Dead Man 2, they had characters from X-Men. So this is unusual, but if you can see where this election is going, this is why a lot of people are turning to the Republican Party. So when you get to midterms, listen to this, 16,000 scientists have signed a letter condemning a proposal by Trump administration to defend gender as a biological and established at birth. So, folks, this is a sensitive topic because it's in the news, but it really has people thinking about, is this an abnormality at birth or a disorder, or is it a disorder that people have? Because this is the only country that addresses such issues like that. Other countries, they are very brutal. Back in the day, people got stoned for birth defect. But we're headed in a different direction. But as you can see, this may be another central topic that you may hear, and this is what people are feeding off of, because a lot of people are against these beliefs, this type of, even in a lot of faiths, they do not accept this. So you may see this issue stirring up because of the fact that I really, honestly, I don't think don't ask, don't tell was a bad policy. I don't think it was, but some people are against it. Some people have different beliefs. But you may see this story staying in the news even after the election. You may see it, like I said, you may see it because of the fact that people are fighting for rights. People are getting brutalized. People are getting beat, and it's been a world problem. And some people just are common sense thinkers. They know that some people are just born this way, and there's nothing that they can do about it. And some people take medicine for it. So this is a hot topic, and it made it into the top 8. I just kept it. It just would not leave the news. I mean, I was even, especially on public radio, they've been having a lot of people in the circulation talking about their sexuality, and for some odd reason this story just won't go away. Like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, we're going to get to story number 2 here in a second. You can go to METHOD the number 8 INC.com, method80.com. If you want to contribute, you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something. This is the show where I give you the top 8 news stories that made it not only into the media but in the news and around the globe that may affect you and may have to keep you informed. If you don't know what's going on, you may not understand why that meteor just fell in your backyard and you see all these glowing aliens outside your house. So that's why it's always good to stay informed. Like I said, you want to contribute in any way, METHOD the number 8 INC.com, method80.com. We will be having a movie premiere on just for the community, for the public, on November 18th at the Holiday Inn in Boardman. It'll be from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll be in there. I've even got Tony Zetz, a legendary singer she just sings a lot of nice, wholesome songs from that golden era of music, and she'll be singing some holiday music for us, some Christmas songs. And we also have other actors. If you want to come meet me and some of the people at Method 8, you can come down there. That'll be on the 18th at 6 p.m. at the Holiday Inn in Boardman, November 18th. So we'll be there, and we'll be watching a film that was produced locally, independent, where the independent art companies specialize in all different types of things that deal with performing arts, music, videos. We do weddings, we do all types of things. If you want to stop by, I'm in the office from 10 to 6 p.m. on Monday through Friday at Boardman, Ohio, 5648 Market Street. Now let's get to story number 2 that made it into the media this week. I didn't mean to scare you with story number 1, but it was in the news, and it's been hanging in there. That story has been hanging in there because of the fact that we have citizens, people who have fought in wars, who have had they've battled with the fact that they have sexual abnormalities, is what they're calling it, or whatever you want to call it. So let's get to story number 2. Get exhausting and talking about such things, but you have to do it. It's way of life. Story number 2. What effect will President Trump have as we approach the midterm elections, or on the midterm elections period? Folks, there are some things going on in this presidency that people are not used to seeing, but there's a reason. There has to be a reason for everything, and a lot of people don't understand why this president is not only militant-minded, but some people think he's psychotic. But to understand the agenda right now, there's a lot at stake when it comes to a republic that we live in this United States. So Trump may be doing things a little bit unorthodox or a little bit different, but a lot of people feed into the madness. A lot of people look at his policies and they say his policies may help America. Some people are looking at his policies and saying he is going to just destroy the future. Some people look at him as the black swan. So this president has a lot of different identities, and many conservatives on the ground are looking to not only the president, but the Republican Party in general to save the roots of I always say that this country, the only flaw that made the American which you can look at, is the fact that there were any country that had any type of slavery or anything, but we've been trying to get through it, and the reason why this story made it in is because of the fact that we've had some hate crimes circulating, and some of these groups, like I say, about 40% are blaming the president in the spike of hate crimes. Don't ask me why. There was even some stories about a Nigerian army justifying some shootings in Shia protesters. And they say the Nigerian police have arrested 400 members of the Shia Muslim sect after days of deadly protests in the capital, and they're blaming it off rhetoric that Trump spewed out when he talked about the border. So not only are Americans watching the president, but people all over the world are watching and listening and tuning in. And this is what we're seeing. But when it comes to policy wise, business minded, when you talk about government, some people felt that the government should be operated as a business. Some people didn't. And never, a lot of activists, political activists, never agreed to NAFTA. They always felt like the trade deals need to be renegotiated. So, like I said, Trump just has a different style, and it may be rubbing off on other people who are not equipped, who haven't even been in the American culture or have seen, or so you may be seeing some things happening. I think there was another story about a senior Palestinian official. She called the Trump administration ignorant and dangerous because of Trump's proposal on Israel. She says that Trump, he has the peace deal thing, but Trump says, I guess, the peace agenda that by going in there and putting Jerusalem as, I believe, the U.S. embassy in Jerusalem, and trying to get it as a capital. There's some stuff. I don't have the story in front of me, but I do remember it saying something like that. But Trump says that he has a peace deal centered in, but he's prepared. He says he has a peace deal. But the fact that Trump is drawing so much attention it really may change. I think if there was not so much negative attention on the president, I think we probably would see I think people are still motivated to keep the majority Republicans in the House and in the cabinet. But right now, with all this negative press and all this negative attention on just the president, it's not the Republican Party. It's just the leader, the president of the United States. And some people, but he has a lot of support. Some people are still supporting him. Some people understand. Some people get it. But still, he's had a hard time reaching. I think his approval rating is not even above 50%, but he's been having a very, very tough time grabbing a lot of people because of the press, the way the press, and this may have been predicted. Who knows? And then you have them vowing to end birthright citizenship. I believe it's the 14th Amendment, if I'm not mistaken. But him and Paul Ryan, that we're getting into it. They've been having some conflicts. So he's been not only ruffling a lot of people's feathers in Congress, but he's been ruffling a lot of people's feathers across the world. I mean, you got how he's handling the migrant crisis. The migrants saying they want to sue Trump government, claiming that he's in violation of their constitutional rights. But when you look at every country has to protect their borders, and the United States has always been welcoming to not only just immigrants, but when you look at the founding of this land, and it's not really anybody's land, but the Native Americans. And right now that it's been controlled by the government. You're seeing things happening, but this is why they're happening, because of the fact that there's always been some unsettled on papers that have been signed for years, and a constitution that has been there. But I can honestly say that if the God had any idea of a nation, I honestly believe that this. Because you look at how sharp the justice system is, how much we practice professionalism in this country, how much we try and we voice our opinions. People have so many freedoms, and that's just what you're seeing. You also have some other things going on in the voting thing that may affect the voting besides Donald Trump. North Dakota Democratic Party, they're discouraging hunters from voting, claiming that they could lose their state license. So there's some things going on as we get closer and closer. Like I said, always cap it off after November 2nd. That's when you should be able to get an idea, or you should be able to get ready to do your research on these candidates, on who will benefit your community and your country, and who do you want to, what policies you want to see in place. There's some things happening in America, and people, but that's what I'm saying. Can you give Trump credit for waking up America with his reality show tactics? Is this strategic? Is this president that smart that he uses these tactics to gain people's attention? Or is it just the fact that Could this Palestinian official be right? Is the Trump administration ignorant? Nobody knows. I mean, when they have them closed door meetings, nobody knows what's going on in there but the president and his administration. So if this is a strategy and they're using tactics to not only manipulate things but save the Constitution of America, then that's what we have to be prepared for. Washington could lower voting age to 16 by 2020. So there's a lot going on with voting. Trump says that he wants to send 15,000 troops to the southern border. Obama says it's a political stunt that because of the fact that this is more soldiers that are in Iraq right now. And this is the Trump effect. No, I don't understand why Obama would make that comment. That doesn't have anything to do with a political. I mean, I think if anything, it would be more of something to draw more awareness of what's going on, keeping this story alive. That's why the story made it into the top 8, because of the fact that there is something going on at the border. These citizens from Honduras are claiming they want asylum in the United States. That's what they're claiming now. They're not saying that they're migrating. They're saying that their country is at war and they need help. So this story will probably stay in the media. I mean, it'll probably stay long after the elections because of the fact that what we're seeing, you've seen people coming across the border illegally, but right now you've never seen a migrant caravan coming through even another country, Mexico, coming through, and so this is unusual. So that's what's when you look at story number 2 and how Trump will affect these midterm elections. There's a reality war that's been. I'm telling you, this idea of keeping or saving the United States Constitution. This is nothing new. This has been circulating and circulating and circulating even since the Great Society. People have always felt that the United States has to stay on the right side when it comes to certain issues, but some people are saying there needs to be a balance of power, checks and balances. Right, real quick, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to method8inc.com. We're almost at the halfway point. Just got to story number 2, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, watch something, click on something, or just read something, or you can sponsor a program. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West, giving you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made it throughout the week, so you can be informed. Not only just be informed, but just know what's going on. It's very, very tough to live life not knowing what's happening or what's in the news. Some people don't have time to watch the news, so I document these stories just for you so you can stay informed. Let's get to story number 3. What is under the rug with healthcare? Now, this is another big topic that is going to be alive and well, especially when you hit the polls, that you have to keep in mind. If you did not know, there's a fight in Montana by big tobacco spending big money to block a tax and Medicaid expansion to this. I guess the whole principle of why healthcare will remain in the news is the fact that some people do not understand why they have to pay for or other people's. So when you talk about Medicaid and Medicare, these are federally or government programs that was put in place by Lyndon Johnson. I believe it was the Great Society, if I'm not mistaken. Let me make sure. But I believe that Lyndon B. Johnson, he wanted the Great Society, so he developed a lot of different government programs. This was after FDR got us through the Great Depression and had a lot, and these were Democrats. So now we're in a time frame to where you're seeing people saying that these programs have been abused and they need to be up to date. They need to be re-evaluated. And now that you see healthcare is so expensive, healthcare is expensive, folks. You can go, there was a story about there's a high price precision medication, I guess that forced a cancer patient, Kristen Kimmler. She or Kilmer, she's been diagnosed with cancer, and she has an 8-year-old daughter. The woman's only 38 years old. So she's been trying to go out and try to resort to experimental treatment to try to save her own life. People get scared. So these drugs are very expensive. Not even just the drugs, but the treatment. Ridiculous. You can talk to tons of cancer patients that will tell you they're getting bills for $35,000. So healthcare in America is will still be. I can see this story getting bumped up even after we see, but this was why the probably one of the most reasons why the Affordable Care Act was passed. But the thing is what we have to think about is what was so different from back in the day till now. Now the medical treatment is so systematic. They have so many different fields. You have to have so many different doctors specializing in so many different things. They have to have so many different nurses. So many people have to get paid. The machines are worth millions, billions of dollars, and people cannot pay with a job paying $8 an hour. If you're on Medicaid and you're eating off the federal government will run out of money paying these ridiculous bills. Even the deductibles, some people can't even afford the deductibles. So you look at the VA and you look at all these facilities trying to keep up, and you go to the doctors, even the doctors can't keep up. They're running late shift. They have to sleep inside the hospitals. So folks, this is what we're seeing. It's all being combined into one big bubble that the government cannot possibly pay the tab, and the wealthy, if you can't tax that. I mean, what we're facing is unbelievable. But you have candidates that are saying that they have ideas, but the ideas are involved with Lyndon Johnson's idea of the federal government was the Great Society, letting the federal government pay, expanding Medicaid, expanding Medicare. Now there's no problem. And then you have the problem with the pre-existing conditions, which is with the Affordable Care Act, which is some people are saying. See, the fact is, folks, the biggest problem that America faces is the haves and the haves not. The battle between the rich, the middle class, and the poor. Nobody has been able to figure out a structure besides working and trying to especially when you have 1%, trying to get them to spend money so that everybody else can eat. So this story I see, story number 3, healthcare, the healthcare problem. This I see until they find some amazing solution that can satisfy everybody's woes instead of the medical system. Some people are satisfied with the Affordable Care Act. Some people are satisfied with it, especially people who have a good job and who can afford the plans. But it's the Medicare and the Medicaid that people are concerned about, because of the fact that when you talk about emergency room visits, there may have to be some counseling sessions on better ways for people to treat, like going to a drugstore and getting just certain types of drugs that may be. So this is I see this stay in the news. Healthcare remains a hot topic, and it's just, like I said, does taxing affect the changes in people's behavior? The FDA is approving powerful drugs. They're even coming out now. They have cannabis-based drugs, and they're saying that it can be utilized to combat seizures. And then you have 4 states set to decide on Medicare expansion, like I said. So these are things that you're going to have to think about when you go to the polls. I advise you to do research on your candidates. Figure out what they're into. Have they had a medical background? Do they understand the system? You can't just vote anybody in office. You have to look, especially your local candidates. These are people who make decisions, who are taking federal money for your community. Some people may be embezzling. You have to look out for things like that. Now, understand in Medicare and Medicaid, you have to take it back to 1965. This was a different time frame, and this was a different day and age. Now we're in a new world, and there people have. When you talk about meeting social, economic, and healthcare needs, people are trying to figure out, is this Is this the way? Can we still operate off this traditional platform, or does it need to? Does the Affordable Care Act need to be repealed? Do some things need to be adjusted around? And this is what the Republican Party has been talking about for. But I mean, this is reality. I mean, you look at two sides here. Some people say we have to balance things out when we get to the polls, but there's a reality setting in. Some people just can't afford it. Some people just can't afford it. So, and some people can't afford to go to a gym. Some people don't like to work out. Some people don't. So this is what we're in. Is the Great Society still alive? Is Lyndon Johnson's dream of that Great Society here, where you had all types of programs for children and things, or is it dying down because of abuse, or do people even understand what the Great Society vision was about? So that's, and then there's been recalls on heart medicines that I think the FDA recalled some medications because of cancer risks. Spinal. There's even a story that circulated about a spinal implant that had helped 3 paralyzed men walk again. They put some type of electrical circuit inside of their spine, and they're able to. So we're in a new world where they're making medical breakthroughs, but these medical breakthroughs are not cheap. They cost money. And people get scared when you go to the doctors. And you're telling them your life is about to end. People get scared. They do anything. They do anything. Like I said, this is the reality that we live in right now. High-priced medicines are changing, making people make some amazing decisions with their health. Like I said, we're at the halfway point. 30 minutes into mediation. If you want to contribute in any way, you can go to METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodating.com. You're in the mediator with me, Brian West, giving you the top 8 headlines developing news stories that made it throughout the week. Like I told you, as a child, I was born to mediate, calming the violence and the strife in my own community, even at an early age, walking with nuns and Muslims and Jews and telling them the way to the truth, the way and the light, talking to them about saviors and prophets. It's been my blood to mediate, to calm the spirits. We don't need religious violence, folks. We need peace, a calm spirit. The ladies don't like violence, man. I'm telling you right now, you can blow a party up if you come in there and you're speaking goodness to the ladies. The ladies don't like violence. They don't like chaos. They just want to be loved. And that's what I'm here to do. Give you some love in mediation. Let's get to story number 4 as we get through. Like I said, if you want to check us out, we have a movie premiere going on November 18th. From 6 to 8 p.m. at the Holiday Inn in Boardman. If you want to come meet me, the mediator, and some of the actors that performed in the local project. And also you get to hear some Christmas songs from Tony Zetz and some other festive ideas that we do during the holidays. Let's get to story number 4 real quick. Is the world forgetting about Yemen? Folks, if you have not noticed, the Middle East is still on the radar. And when I talk about prophets, priests, nuns, prophets, Muslims, Jews, and all this stuff, it circulates where the holy city of Israel and all of the Egypt and all that place over, they call it the Middle East, and it has been at war. Did you know, in story number 4, that more than 22 million Yemenis people, Yemens, are they have a total now. They have a total of 29 million in their, I believe, in their population, but 22 million are in need of humanitarian assistance. Folks, 8 million people in Yemen are facing famine conditions, and it is rising quick. And people are complaining about the new mindset of America, saying that we have become so selfish that we forgot about our duty, not only just our civic duty, especially as a Judeo-Christian, or however this country was founded, just believes in aiding the responsibility of leadership. And some people are saying we're forgetting our cause. Some people just say it's because of our economic situation in this country. We just don't have enough money. But children are dying. There's been war over there. There's conflicts. I mispronounced this last week. It's the Houthi and the Shia, the Sunni. They are fighting it out. I think last week I was just speaking out the side of my neck, and I said it was the Houthi and the Shia, but it's the Houthi and the Sunni, and they are some people believe that Iran is backing the Houthi and Russia has been helping out the Saudis. What makes this story so interesting is the fact that it's all happening around Saudi Arabia, and it's affecting Americans because of the fact that they have resources, and we've been trading when it comes to oil, and the fact that there's so much historical value in the land. And the fact that these countries are at war, the children haven't been able to eat, they haven't been able to get resources, they are fighting it out. And then when you seen the journalist Jamal Khashoggi, when he disappeared, that even made it more suspicious. And you see people moving these pieces, and there's the Trump administration has been talking about sanctions against Iran, and some people don't understand why Trump and the Trump administration is sticking with the Saudi government. So this is probably going to stay in the news. It bumped its way up to number 4, and it's just the fact that nobody can get an idea of what's going on in the Middle East, and there's still a nuclear arms race going on because of the fact that no one knows what would happen if any of these countries were able to obtain nukes. And when you have war conflict, people know that nukes can quiet the storm very, very fast. So I don't see this, but when it comes to these children, just like in Syria, there are children involved in these wars, and the Red Cross cannot possibly handle. I mean, you have all these, you have the United Nations, these issues come to the forefront, and America has always been there as giving aid. And now that we have an administration who is saying America first, some people in America don't even, I mean, they don't even respect their own country. So that's the problem. Even domestically, people have to change their mindset. There's a lot going on in the world, and these countries need aid. You know, I hate you see these pictures of these children are starving. I mean, you look at even the pictures in Syria, little babies washed up on the sea, and people are just watching them, and they're trying to live that daily capitalist life, maintaining money, power, respect, and that's caused a lot of problems and a lot of issues because we've forgotten about. There's some stories that I found that I'm going to get to in a second about even some Christians over there. The Christian religion, I'm going to get to that story in a second, but there's some things going on overseas. I'm just going to hold off before I get to it. Like I said, if you want to contribute anyway, that was story number 4. Is the world forgetting about Yemen? Not only just Yemen, but the children in these countries that are facing brutal conflicts between grown men trying to just save their legacy as a country, and the war just. But as a mediator, like I said, it is my duty to counsel, to talk, to mediate, to try to calm the dust, calm the bombs. Everybody relax, calm down. We can do this the right way, folks. War is not the answer. Strife is not the answer. It's not going to do anything but cause more strife, more bombs. Folks, I'm giving you an invitation to a peaceful plan. This diplomacy in its ultimate form, mediation, where two people can sit down and talk, and I can just stand in the middle and give you the divine way to life, to live peacefully and feel youthfully in all of your days, walking through the garden and smelling the flowers, smelling the trees. It's going to be all right, A-OK, folks. And if it isn't, then you have to face what's on the other side. And folks, what's on the other side of this life, I'm warning you, I've been there. There's peace on the other side if you do it the right way. But if you don't, I'm telling you, there's some things going on in the other alternate universe, the alternate dimension. I'm a living witness. It's my duty to mediate. I'm not an alien to civil society. I'm a servant. Something great. I feel greatness. I feel like I want to spread greatness by showing you the way, folks. Let's get to story number 5. Story number 5. Getting minorities and people out to the polls. This is a story that made it in. If you want to, like I said, if you want to contribute before I get to this one, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, methodinc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. Knowledge is always good. Knowledge is great. And it's a part of mediation. Reading books, studying, and understanding conflict. So you can put on your cape, your hat, and your hard hat, and your fire hose, and go out and try to save the people. Violence is not the answer. We try to use not just goodness, but greatness. And greatness is the medicine for anybody who wants to be great and wants to feel great. Story number 5, getting minorities and people out to the polls. Folks, groups of people are putting millions of dollars into try to get not only just minorities, but people out to the polls, all different types, all different sects of people inside of America, trying to get them to use their political power, to voice their power at the polls. Voting is tough, but a lot of people are doing it and they're spending money, and some are concerned about voter suppression. If you do not know, voter suppression has a lot to do with how America or this country has gotten to the point it's been now. Some people don't. Some people don't feel that people are informed enough or active enough to vote. So not only can voter suppression be, it's not something. It's something that can be self-inflicted. When you fail to fulfill your duty as a citizen and understanding your rights and trying to do research on why things are the way they are, you can't always blame people for certain circumstances. There's solutions and there's ways. Some people take the law into their own hands and they end up in a lot, not only just themselves, but they leave a legacy for their family members inside of a community and inside of a world of negative energy. So when you talk about the way the system is structured, it's structured so that if you can go through it the right way and try to do it in a justful and peaceful way. But some people do some drastic things, picking up guns, some children in domestic violence situations. So this is why voting is such a pivotal part of every person's life. It's because of the fact that there's been bloodshed for rights for people to get to vote. Now, and there's in every country. Voting is not easy. Some dictators do not want their citizens voting. Some governments do not allow don't want their citizens. Some leaders manipulate the polls so they can keep power. But in America, that's a great thing. Now, nearly 4 in 5 voters are concerned that incivility will lead to violence at the polls. Let's hope that's not a problem. You know, in mediation, just like in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it's a beautiful day when you go and you feel it's a relief when you get to the polls and you vote and you feel like you've done something. Even if you don't win, you have to be just try to display some good sportsmanship. I've been knocked down. I'm a little man, I've been knocked down tons of time in my life. I've had to lose a lot. I mean, sometimes I'm good at basketball, sometimes I'm good at football, sometimes I'm good at track, sometimes I'm not. But I've had to learn that I've had to get up and wipe myself off and try it again. I've been in fights at an early age as a youngster, got beaten up sometimes, but to get up the next day and fight another day is great, and that's a part of life. So being a voter, you have to, if you lose, you take your time and you just come back and you try to get it right. And that's the way democracy works. Everybody's had a chance in this democracy. And that's the great thing about it. Even in some of these stories, everybody has had a chance to have a voice. So go out and vote. It's not a bad thing. And be informed. Read your local paper, listen to some of these radio hosts and see who's the better candidate. Many states are also concerned about voter fraud. Some people feel that ignorance is poisoning just the voting system and what's really at stake in democracy right now. Did you know that more than 20 million Americans voted early? So I guess the Trump effect, and not just the Trump effect, but people are starting to get the message that they need to do something, and they starting to feel. I think people are starting to feel that there's something special about this country, and I think they're starting to realize that they have to be activists, and that's what we want. Revival. We don't want to lose the power that we have and the freedom, the belief of freedom, the ability to go out and smell the fresh air, and when you get out, you can find a nice girl, and just try to redeem some of the things you've done in the past. That's what the United States of America has been all about. If you want to contribute anyway, METHOD, the number 8, INC.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, watch something, click on something, or just read something. If you want to sponsor a program, you're more than welcome to. Every little bit counts. Sponsorship is not hard. We talked about, we can shoot out your marriage. We can tell people about what you're doing, or you could just tell your business. You get a tagline on the top 8 stories. If you want to also contribute, you can come to 5648 Market Street and buy a ticket for our upcoming event. We have a movie premiere at the Holiday Inn November 18th from 6 to 8 p.m. and that's on a Sunday. We will be there. Some of the actors, local community, local activists. I've always used my skills to impact the community. 5648 Market Street in Bourbon, Ohio. Method8inc.com. METHOD, the number 8 INC.com if you want to contribute in any way. Now let's get to story number 6. Is the media really that bad? This story crept in and made it all the way up to number 6 because people are blaming the media constantly for, not only is the president blaming the media, but a lot of people are concerned about the media. And, I've always wanted to write and do things. And I've always tried to be in the what's going on, updated. So some people are saying that the media is causing some of this, but the media is saying that, they make mistakes and they're not perfect too. And you get what you can out of the stories. So why is all of a sudden the media the center of attention? Is there a list of trail or victims to back up the claims that are being made about the press? Is this true? What even hosts like Rush Limbaugh says, is the media the drive-by media? And Mitt Romney has also joined in discussion. He's condemning the president's comments against the media by referring to them as detrimental to democracy. Media is a driving force in every country. It's a great thing to be able to understand or investigative journalism. Getting the top stories, it's not an easy job. Journalists have risked their lives, died on the battlefield. You look at Jamal Khashoggi, that's a prominent example. But if you look at a list, even Pulitzer Prize winners, people who have won awards in media, who do not have who are going back to basic ways to get their stories out. Some people do. You can't always win when you have a big story. It takes sacrifice, and some people don't want. So that's the difference that you see, is that maybe some people don't. Especially people in power. That's the balance. So could this be a driving factor even when people get to the poll? The Trump effect at the polls will be big. It will be big. It will because of the fact that he's brought attention to matters that normally would not have been attended to. And some people, like I said, when it comes to the Republican agenda, their agenda is the strongest right now, and right now people are doing things across the globe that people need to be more informed about. So we not only need the media, but we need the president and his administration and all officials in this country to be united right now, to be on board with the bigger picture of America. This is a country that has a value to it. It's got substance, and it needs to be treated like it's a priceless piece of equipment. Because without the fighting spirit of the United States of America, there's a lot of people in need, just in need of aid, of resources, nonprofit organizations, children who may not have coats this winter. That's sympathy. That's mercy. You don't see that in a lot of places. You look at the agenda of ISIS, the fact that they were brutal, no mercy. But in America, you don't really see that. A lot of people haven't given a chance. But we'll get to the top 2 stories here in a second. But this is what is at stake, and this is what's happening in the news. 21% say the media is to blame for the spike in violence. I believe it was 47 said Trump is to blame. So there are some people saying that the media, not only the media, but the president is to blame for the spike in hate crimes. But some people are saying that there's always been hate crimes. There's nothing we can do about it, but try to try to spread a different message. And that's what's at stake. Let's get to story number 7 real quick. The top 2 stories that made it into the meter this week. Like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, METHOD, the number 8 INC.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or read something. Story number 7, and top 2 stories that made it into the meter this week. Which religion and gun policies are better for the public? Folks, when we talk about religion and we talk about gun policies, this relates to the last story because of the fact that people think that guns kill people. And there's when you had the synagogue shooting, not only just that, but you had they're just a recent one, a yoga studio. There was a shooting in South Carolina. So and you look at what's been happening on the scale of old wounds being revealed and coming back to life. Now, one GOP candidate called Islam dangerous and the work of Satan. So there's a battle going on when it comes to religious policy. People who know their Bible, know the history of every religion, understand what's at stake. Even when you talk about Zionism, folks, this is real. This is real. When you make or you choose a faith, when you decide on which faith, what you believe in this people hold this dear to their heart, and a lot of people will die and fight for their religious beliefs. It is a constitutional right. And as the comments that some people make, like calling Christians like sheep, or matter of fact, if you want to, even witchcraft has popped up in the news in Canada. Some women are being charged with witchcraft. So people are choosing different paths or ways of living life, and some people see it as a disturbance to their own faith, and it's causing a mass a bubble of violence, because some people feel like their religion needs to dominate the whole world. There was a missionary shot in Cameron. And one thing I've always been amazed with, as I was raised Baptist, and I'm considered a Christian. I'm a Christian myself. So when I've always been fascinated with missionaries. These are people who leave their comfort of the United States of America to go to other countries to spread the gospel, spread the good news. So this is, even when you see, when it says in the Bible, I believe God called the Jews a stiff-necked people. When you see things like this happening, and different religions trying to win over people, this remains a hot topic. And they look at guns. People are looking at guns at the center of attention, because radicals use guns to show their protests. And right now, there's even been conspiracies about prophecies about one world religions. Biblical scholars have prophesied this for years. Some people think we're in that day and time right now. So this remains a hot topic. That's how I got bumped to number 7. When you talk about the Vegas shooting, there's been so many killings in America, in a country that promotes freedom and democracy, but people have been taking things into their own hands because of their beliefs, what they believe. And some people are saying this is becoming an issue. Religious group leaders are coming together. They're throwing down their weapons, and they're starting to hug each other. They're starting to come together. So is this prophecy being fulfilled? That's what's happening. This is real. There was a girl killed in a gang shooting that targeted the wrong house in North Las Vegas. The shooter, he legally had his own gun, and they shot up this house, and this little girl she's gone. So this is what's at stake. Islamic religions have been attacking Coptic Christians, pilgrims. I think there were at least 7 in Egypt that were killed. So religious leaders are now evaluating their own security. They're having to get grants to protect their own congregations. So this is something that you may want to think about when you hit the polls too. Who are you voting for? What are their religious beliefs? How do they feel? Are they radicals? I think I think the Christ story is probably one of the best stories of redemption. A chance to redo your life, another chance, the God of a second chance, a merciful God. That's a good concept to live in this world, because not everybody's perfect. To be able to confess yourself, you've done something wrong, and get another chance. Some religions don't think like that. So, but that's something that will probably be on people's minds as we try to coexist as societies. We're and then you see children in Yemen suffering. To the Christian, that's a time to put on your cape and start supporting, spending your money, sacrificing your own time, going out. But right now they're saying that people are forgetting about even just religion. And even should it be a requirement for public servants to have some universal religious knowledge? Christian women. There's a Christian woman on death row for blasphemy in Pakistan. Nearly 30% of anti-Semitic online attacks, they say, are robots. So there's people who have religious views, and And it's stirring up the pot. They say George Soros is a Jew that's been supporting all of this chaos. Some people say that's a rumor. There's no, but there's some things going on in the religious circles, folks, that you may want to that you may want to start paying attention to. You may want to start understanding, because when your eyes are open, it may be too late. This is some real deal stuff going on underground, folks. Some grassroots movements going on in churches right near you, and some of these people have no clue what's going on. The bigger picture, especially when it comes to diplomacy and peace and trying to understand why these people are at borders trying to get in, Palestinians and Jews fighting it out. Folks, this is reality. Let's get to story number 8 real quick. We're at the 5-minute mark. The story number 8 is this story crept up to the top because pay has been a big concern, and the headline is, "Are we getting paid enough?" If you do not know, U.S. wage growth has hit a 9-year high. This is the big reason why a lot of people are understanding or are going to the Republican agenda, because the Republicans, they're winning when it comes to the economy right now. Some people still think that when they talk about pay, they even refer to athletes and how they're getting paid. And some people, when it comes to unions, they don't understand why the unions are under attack when it comes to defending the working men. Some people say unions have been bought out. So there's some stuff going on the workroom floor that you may want to start paying attention to. And this story is number 8, because right now, if there's a tax cut and it's coming from the federal, and then they see interest rates rising, the first thing you have to be concerned about is, if you're making more money, how is this going to affect you? Should you be saving? So there's a lot of financial planners out there. There's a lot of financial advisors. And when it comes to money, a lot of Americans have problems with money. And people may be going for that $15 an hour job, not understanding that they can't get that time back. And when they try to, it may be too late. When you get fired from a job, so money is a big issue, and pay is a big issue in America right now. That's why the story bumped to the top. There's just so much going on when it comes to pay, and people getting an understanding, even when it comes to unions fighting for trying to get higher wages. We just had a problem with Northside Hospital in Youngstown, where you had they were battling it out, and the unions were trying to take care of the workers. There's some unions that are saying their workers have been sacrificing so much, and they just can't understand why the 1% is still, they still can't make ends meet. So this is a big deal. I see this not only taking effect in the voting booth, but I see this being an issue all year round as we get closer and closer to even just the elections with the new president. 2020. Let's get to the top local stories that made it. They still have some flu clinic locations that I refer you go to your local paper to. When it comes to political candidates, I really recommend you do your research. They always have articles in your local papers, your local news. They have videos up now where you can see debates from your local candidates. In Youngstown, they are still rebounding from past filled with corruption. The city is turning to business owners and a new generation of politicians. Unions are still battling for jobs. Not really too much has changed. Republicans and independents see an opportunity in not only just Youngstown, but they're starting to see it in many communities because of the decline over the years. One thing that Youngstown I can say have that will probably continue to make it great is water and land. And that's the city's strongest bid. I want to thank you so much for tuning to the Mediator this week. Those are the top 8 stories that made it into the Mediator. Like I said, if you want to contribute in any way, you can go to method8inc.com, where you can buy something, watch something, click something, or read something. The book of the month is Monuments Men by Robert Edsel. And if you want to come check us out, we will be at the Holiday Inn November 18th. We will be showing a movie, a local production, independent production, which we specialize in at Method 8 at 5648 Market Street, Boardman, Ohio. I'm there from 10 to 6 p.m. If you want, like I said, if you want to contribute or you want to do anything, you can go to method8inc.com, method8inc.com, and you can buy something, click on something, watch something, or just read something, or you can even sponsor a program. And like I said, go out and vote. It's pivotal to not only the health of a stable system, but it's good for your own health, and it's good for your family, because it's a responsibility that that a lot of people need to start taking seriously. So go out and vote, and when you do, get that magical feeling and do it again next year and the year after, and teach your children, teach your friends about it, teach your friends about it, teach your family about it, and teach everybody. Tell them about freedom. Tell them about democracy. Tell them about the mediator, me, Brian West. And please show us some love. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you all the best at the polls. Good luck, and please don't forget to show us some love by going to the website. Have a good week, everybody, and thank you for tuning into the mediator with me, your host, Brian West. Have a good week, everybody.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The mediator is here.